to have somebody that pretends to be a fighter for the sake of the religious world go against the rabbis of the religious world, obviously, you see, this is going to create a public outcry, as if there's not enough wars against the Torah already. Let's see. Ben Gvir said that we're allowed to go to Har Habayit, or we will be allowed soon. Is that true? Ben Gvir, unfortunately, just made a mistake of his life by not only desecrating the words of the sages, but desecrating God's name by going against the greatest Torah scholars in the last 100 years that have specifically paskined one after another without exception, whether they were from the Sephardi, Ashkenazi, Dati Leumi, even Rav Kook. There's no more, this is in essence what Ben Gvir claims to be, where he's learning whatever he learned in his life. All of Gadolei Yisrael, including Rav Kook, says Jews are not allowed to go to Har Habayit. Not allowed to go to Har Habayit. So when Ben Gvir said this today, and not only said it, but said it publicly, he made a mistake of his life. It's a Chilul Hashem. It's certainly desecrating the name of Hashem, and certainly not something that he should have ever done. No, Jews are not allowed to go to Har Habayit. There is no, none of Gadolei Yisrael permitted it. And when a politician says something, it doesn't matter what they say, you should know that everything that a politician says has an agenda. It's never at face value. Doesn't matter who the politician is. If it's an American politician, Israeli politician, a politician from Bangladesh, politician from Canada, politicians by definition are people that are arguing for agendas. Somebody told me one time years ago that politician comes from the a word originally that comes, which is a tick, like the bloodsucker. Not sure if it's 100% correct. It's very possible. But nonetheless, that's what a lot of politicians do to their followers, to their supporters. They suck as much blood, as much money as they can from people in order to fight for people's agendas. So in reality, the politician usually doesn't have his own opinion. He has paid opinions. Whoever is paying him, whoever is supporting him, whoever is giving him money, that's what he's going to preach. If one day people that are against Israel are supporting him, that's what he's going to preach. If the next day richer people supporting Jewish people are supporting him, he'll do that. And that's how politicians are. And unfortunately, that's the case. Every one of these politicians, there's no difference among them. They're all coming there with agendas, either to gain the public opinion to do one thing or another in order for the politician to gain more money, more support, more power, so they could do other bigger things. And it seems unrealistic to think that what Ben Gvir did right now is anything different than what all politicians do. He simply has an agenda. He wants to go against the tide. He wants to get attention. He wants to be the center of attention. He wants to cause trouble for other politicians. So he's doing something that is going to get, a public outcry. A public outcry, which obviously, to have somebody that pretends to be a fighter for the sake of the religious world go against the rabbis of the religious world, obviously, you see, this is going to create a public outcry, as if there's not enough wars against the Torah already. So, the point is that what he said is wrong. It's against the Torah. It's against the sages of recent generation, of past generation. No one will ever agree with him, according to the Torah, for what he said. He may get some politicians to support him, but he'll never get the religious community or their sages or their rabbis to ever agree with him. And I could pretty much tell you that with this new snake up his sleeve, he is replicating the same type of behavior of previous politicians that pretended to be religious, or even the judges that pretend to be religious that are going against the Torah. So it's important for a person to know that when it comes to knowing what's right and what's wrong, we go after Da'at Torah. What's Da'at Torah? Da'at Torah is what? The Gadolei Yisrael, the giant Torah scholars of the generation, say. We don't go by politicians, we don't go by newscasters, we don't go by podcasters, we don't go by any of those people. We go by Gadolei Yisrael, the Torah giants of the generation that have dedicated and sacrificed their entire lives for the sake of serving Hashem, learning His Torah, and helping His nation. And not people that have agendas. When a Torah sage is going to tell you, a Torah scholar is going to tell you something, you know that they don't have an agenda. Why? They're speaking to you what the Torah says. Their agenda is what God said. That's not a personal agenda. But when a politician speaks to you, it's no different than, that politician being within your country or the enemy country. There's no difference. They both have agendas. They both have agendas. It's not something that, I'm not saying something here that's unique. Just now, there was a politician in America. I believe he's the one of the mayors or senators, or whoever he is, of New Jersey, just got caught that he took bribes from Egypt and other countries of the Middle East to sell government secrets. And they caught him with bars of gold and huge amounts of money in his, and in so many, they convicted him. He's guilty. He's guilty of treason. I'm surprised he's not in prison. But anyway, this is a guy that's in the U.S. government selling secrets of the U.S. government that he's privy to, doing things, doing dealings with other countries that are not exactly allies in order to serve his own agenda. And if you think he's the only one, he's simply the only one that got caught recently. That's all he is. And enough at that. And this happens everywhere. Recently there was a report that came out that apparently they found some major wire transfers and transactions in the tens of millions being transferred from companies under the control of the Qatari government. But of course, it wasn't like the government of Qatar. It was a company somebody owned that's sending to a company that somebody else owned. But in so many words, they tracked everything else. All the food crumbs, all the breadcrumbs. And it went from Qatar to Bibi Netanyahu, from Qatar to Avigdor Lieberman, from Qatar to all types of Israeli government officials at the top. Why are you taking money from the enemy? Tens of millions nonetheless. And then people think that I'm crazy when I say that the whole thing of October 7th was certainly an inside job, in addition to obviously the terrorists being terrorists. Of course the terrorists want to kill, but they had the help of people that work for the government, people that work in the country. But this is in every country. This is in every country, no exception. If you are in politics, you are in bribes. That's the way it works. That's why I've always told people, ask me, about election, should I vote, should I not vote? Honestly, I think it's ridiculous. People still think that votes count. Even if your vote actually counted in the system, what do you think? That the politician is going to do what he promised you? So, conclusion is this. Ben Gvir is not a Torah scholar. He's not even the shoe of a Torah scholar. He is a politician. And by what he did today, he shows that he fits the definition of the old Greek or Latin word that means tick. He's getting blood from somewhere in order to say the stupid things that he's saying right now, because he's going against the Torah with or without the kippah on his head. We don't learn from politicians. We learn from Torah scholars. That's how we know what the truth is. Next question.